The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
There goes that man's jock strap.
Oh my God, did you see that?
America's team? Yeah, right.
Oh, baby, it's a big day in sports.
There's nothing like battling it out with your teammates all season long to go win a championship.
Green Bay's got it this year.
Huge move for them. I think it's going to be a game changer.
We have a lot to talk about this busy week in the sports world. Welcome to the In a League of Their Own podcast.
The In a League of Their Own podcast is brought to you exclusively by YouTube. By Golf Kicks, Screw Your Shoes. By Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast. By Canadips, a CBD pouch crafted and manufactured in Humboldt, California. And by Streamer Loot. Check out the In a League of Their Own merch line today. Welcome to the show. Here are your hosts, Austin and Collin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 110 of the In a League of Their Own podcast. Kicking us off with our 110 sports fact for the day. The Olympic Games included the 100-meter hurdles race starting on the year 1896. The fastest time ever recorded in the event was set by American Aries Merritt. Merritt ran the event in 12.80 seconds at a 2012 meet in Belgium. In the Olympic Games, the fastest time recorded was set by Chinese runner Liu Yang with a time of 12.91 seconds in the 2004 Olympics in Athens. So, which is crazy because I'm pretty sure the fastest 100 I ever ran was like around 12, and they're running an extra 10 meters while jumping over hurdles. So
yeah, those videos are always cool to watch, how their heads never move, but their bodies are like how crazy it is to go that fast while having to jump that. Yeah, like you said, that's impressive.
Yeah, as always, before we dive into our content for the day, feel free to check out our socials down in the description link below. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. You can find that there. Any breaking sports news that happens around the four major sports. Usually we have things up there. For our audio episodes, check out Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, anywhere associated with Anchor. As always, the 5-star ratings help us move up the charts over there. And also down in the description link, you can find our merch. Streamerloot.co, sweatshirts, shirts, mugs, all that good stuff. You can find that there. Let's dive into our NFL news for the day.
Sounds good. Let's recap the game last night. What we thought was going to be a close game turned out to be a barn burner. After Mike White goes out, Colts took it to him. Jonathan Taylor, that run game, he's proving that could borderline be one of the best running backs if it's not Derrick Henry. He's making a case that he's number 2 in the league. And last night's performance, that offensive line, I mean, hey, Carson Wentz did an amazing job too when they were able to actually run the ball and not have to put him in dire situations where he's got to try to kill himself every play. But yeah, what a solid game, and the Jets stink.
I think this game is close if Mike White doesn't go down. The fact that they have a chance down the stretch to obviously that last interception sealed everything, but I mean the fact that they have a chance going down the stretch, Josh Johnson, whoever this guy is, steps in and I mean does well. Took a little bit to get going, but 317 yards with 3 touchdowns. And then obviously that one pick right at the end. I don't know. I picked the Jets to win this game because like I said, if Mike White was in, I feel like they would have had a better chance to win it. But yeah, like you said, Jonathan Taylor took it to him. Over 9 yards of carry for the game. Yeah, I mean, a good bounce back game for the Colts. And even though the Jets took an L, I mean, they put up 30 points against arguably one of the best defenses in the league. So I don't know. I think the Jets are finally turning a new leaf after getting a big win over the Titans, getting a win 2 weeks ago against the Bengals, and then making it close against the Colts. I think they're kind of over their feeling sorry for themselves ways now. And I don't know who they play next week, but I don't know. At least for the time being, like I said, it seems like they're starting to finally trend up.
They play the Bills, and Zach Wilson is supposed to be back.
I mean, obviously the Bills are going to be highly favored in that game, but I don't know. I'm obviously what Zach Wilson's done for that team so far.
Has been a lot worse than what Mike White and Josh Johnson have done for him.
Yeah, in half the amount of play time, if not more,
and probably a tenth of the money combined.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be definitely a tough call for Robert Salah. As far as my understanding, he's been saying once Wilson's healthy, he's our guy. But I don't know. I mean, if anything, Mike White going out last night helped Zach Wilson, because if Mike White stays in that game and leads them to a win, how can you not keep him in over Zach Wilson? But again, he goes out, they lose the game. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. That's a tough decision. Your first round pick and a guy who has proven to be a better passer. But I don't know. We'll see, I guess, what they decide to do.
Yeah, I feel like personally they're going to have to keep him just so they don't look like complete idiots of taking him number 2 overall and then getting rid of him for Josh Johnson, who's literally been on 16 different teams before he got his shot last night. And then Mike White, who's been in the league for 4 years and never got a shot. Like, you have guys who have been in the league. They've been practicing for 4 years at the NFL level against NFL guys. Like, they can easily step in and do it. Zach Wilson, on the other hand, they have to go through the learning curve and do all that type of stuff to get him ready to go. I mean, if I were a Jets fan, I would be calling, maybe try to get rid of him at the end of the season, Wilson, and see what you can get. Send him to a team that maybe needs a quarterback or is looking to like rebuild or something, and see what you can get back for him. But unless he has turned the corner with being out injured, getting to watch and study a little bit more, since he kind of was thrown right into that role of, hey, you're out here. And like you said, seems like they've gotten their legs underneath them the last couple games. I just think it's really tough sledding for that team, especially because their quarterback situation at hand, when you really have 2 guys who have proven themselves that they can win games, and you have your number 1 pick who's been a disaster so far.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. If the Jets were like a close to 500 or above 500 team right now, that changes the situation. We're at 2-6. It makes sense, like you said, for them to stick with Wilson through the end of the year. Try to, like you said, get him through that learning curve, get all the bumps and bruises out of the way, and obviously reassess it. I mean, we're in week 9. We're finally past that halfway point of the year, where if you don't see any progress for him through the end of the year, then maybe, like you said, you look to shop him a bit. But again, if you don't see progression, how much are you going to get back for him? You're taking a loss no matter what. The value that comes in a number 2 pick in the draft, you're not going to get that back out of him. Especially teams are going to look at it and be like, okay, they're getting rid of their second pick. Something's wrong with them. So then people are going to be like, okay, we'll give you a 3rd round pick, maybe a couple guys off our practice squad, whatever for him. So, but yeah, I mean, again, the situation that New York is in helps Wilson because, like you said, he should get the nod to try to play the rest of the year. But if they are in contention, if they were, again, 4-4, even 3-5, I mean, 3-5 is kind of still a long shot, but at 2-6, they're pretty much out of it for the year, especially being in that West where the Patriots and Bills are ahead of them. Yeah. again, this is going to be an interesting topic to kind of come back to at the end of the season as far as where the Jets are at. But
And the Jaguars, dude, number 1 and number 2 picks
Mhm.
both aren't off to a really good start.
No.
1-7 and 2-6 teams. Like, and then you have Tua, who's I'm going to put him in that basically rookie category as well. He's got his Dolphins. What are they? 2-6 as well. 1-7.
I think they only have one win on the year.
1-7.
Yeah.
So 3 rookie quarterbacks who were touted to be top caliber guys. None of them have more than 2 wins. Well, Zach Wilson, he's got 0. Well, 1 win, right?
Yeah, the Titans. He started that game.
Yeah. So he's got 1. They're all 1-7. And who knows what's going to happen. This is wild, especially with the quarterback class coming in not so strong. Like, there's a handful of guys, but none of them are jumping off the page like you've heard about Trevor Lawrence or some of these guys. Justin Fields and Mac Jones so far look the best, and because we really haven't seen a lot from Trey Lance yet.
Yeah, a couple of times he's been on the field, like he's been put into situations where he's basically expected to succeed. A first and goal from the 2. Yeah, yep. First and goal from the 2. Oh, he scored a touchdown. Trey Lance is great. It's like the guy had to get 2 yards. Like,
it's a confidence boost.
Yeah, so in that case, the 49ers know what they're doing as far as putting the guy in situations where he can succeed. But also the high pressure situations down in the goal line. You have less room to work with. 11 guys on the other side of the ball, all condensed in one area to still be able to do that. Yeah, like you said, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones right now looks like the best rookie QB by far. But yeah, I mean, like you said, it'll be interesting coming into next year. There's only a handful of quarterbacks that are worth mentioning coming into that draft class. And on paper, none of them look as good as what this draft class was this year. So either Jets, Jaguars, these teams are going to have to shop kind of the free agent guys who are available, some second, third string guys on other teams, whatever it might be. But yeah, next offseason, I mean, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, then I guess if you want to stick with crazy, let's talk about the Odell Beckham news. Team releasing him. He's going through the waivers. They are currently, I guess, before this happened, none of the financial information is being released until his waiver clears, because right now he's at $8.1 million would be what a team would have to pay to pick him up for less than a half of a season, which I don't think any team in the NFL would do or has the room at that point, unless you're the Raiders and you lost, somebody like that, where maybe the cap has become available. But the rumors have it that they're turning what the Browns owe him this year into a signing bonus, so that number comes down to around the $2 million range. And there are 6 teams whose names have been in the bucket basically for who's going to get him. The Packers are listed at number 1, Saints 2, Raiders 3, New England 4, Buffalo 5, and Atlanta at that 6th spot. And with the Packers having enough room to sign him, if it is around that it's got to be under $2.4 million. I feel like, and Odell's, there were rumors early this offseason about potentially making a trade for him at that point. He wants to come to a team where they have an elite passer. I feel like this is a team where he'd be able to step in and do just fine. And he knows he's not going to be the number 1 because Devontae is number 1. He knows that he might not even be number 2. He might be that third guy along with MVS on the outside. And that would be such a scary combination if that were to pan out. Obviously, we'll see here if he clears waivers, but that is all to be expected, and we should be hearing 24 hours. So we should hear by tomorrow at some point if no teams picked him up off the waivers.
Yeah, and the waivers actually go until Monday, so teams have until basically the whole weekend, where come Monday, if nobody claims off waivers, he's then a free agent, and he can pick and choose where he wants to go. And basically, the way waivers works is based off of how the draft order would go next year. So right now, Lions would have first pick, where essentially it's a pecking order of like, all right, Odell's on waivers. So whether Odell's agent or representative, whatever, reaches out to every team. Lions, are you interested? Nope. Down the list. This team, are you interested? So basically, it's going through every team. Again, if they want to pay that $2.4 million to pick him up, which
it's 8.1. It's 8.1 because that financial isn't changing until after.
Oh, okay.
Like they're not released. Nobody knows what the financial details have changed. Like I haven't heard about it. Obviously, I don't know if the teams on the waiver wire know that information, but publicly that hasn't been released that his contract has been changed. That's just what I read, is that that's what they were planning to do with his contract. I just haven't seen any new numbers yet, but as of what the people know, the public, is $8.1 million to pick him up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's a handful of teams that kind of stand on that list. Packers and Patriots are kind of the two I've seen talked most about. I mean, obviously, as a Packers fan, it'd be great to see him on the team.
I've seen the Ravens too, but they weren't on the list of the teams
Yeah.
that ESPN has as sources say they're interested.
Yeah.
You know, like they weren't on that list. I just saw a thing about Lamar Jackson posted something.
Oh yeah, there's a
He got
bunch of
asked
people who have been tweeting at him.
He got asked if you, and he's just like, I'm not in control.
Yeah. And then obviously the Raiders too, with just releasing Henry Ruggs, they're going to have to look to fill that void on that team. Again, a team that's I think they're 5-2 right now.
Yeah.
So they're right there in the top mix of the AFC. So, but yeah, I mean, if Odell goes to the Raiders, he basically steps into a receiver one role. Obviously, like you said, in Green Bay, he steps into the kind of 2 or 3 role, but again, probably getting more targets than he was in Cleveland. And then obviously on the Ravens, Patriots, kind of that 1A, 1B kind of role behind Marquise Brown on the Ravens. He'd be kind of, I mean, Marquise Brown has been with the team, so I feel like they kind of keep him as that receiver one look. But obviously, OBJ, a bigger bodied guy, has been around the league longer. He's going to get just as many looks too. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I guess the one thing, I mean, obviously, again, like I said, as a Packers fan, it'd be great to get him. But at the same time, they have like
it'd only be for the rest of the season. Because I don't think we would sign him long. There's no way. I feel like he's deserving of a lot of money. Like he truly is. If you get, if he gets his touches and whatnot, like Eli Manning, like no knock on him, but he's a Hall of Fame quarterback or whatever, but he's not a gunslinger, like him being put with like a Mahomes or a Rodgers or it's not the same. Where I don't know. The one team that I heard was 100% interested was the Titans before they signed Adrian Peterson out of free agency. I could have seen that because Julio's not 100%. And that's one of the reasons as well why the Packers to me makes the most sense, is because MVS dealing with a hamstring injury. You don't know how much that's going to linger, hurt him, affect him all season long.
Yeah.
OBJ to be able to step right up there. I mean, OBJ and Adams, pick one, cover. Good luck.
Yeah. Like you said, it'd just be through the end of the year because, again, they still are trying to work out Rodgers' deal to keep him in Green Bay. They still have yet to work out a deal with Devontae to keep him in Green Bay. You bring in OBJ, basically he has to know, all right, this is just through the end of the year, unless you want to take close to the league minimum to stay here. Yeah, they would be able to afford to keep him, along with trying to work out a deal with Rodgers and Adams. So
yeah, especially with the salary cap going up after this season. Yeah, I could see him being signed for a couple $1 million by a contender.
Yeah, I guess moving on to some other news here. Some kind of injury getting back on the field news. Kyler Murray had that ankle injury last Thursday night against Green Bay. Cliff Kingsbury came out and said that he's going to be a game time decision for Sunday. Said that unless he is 100% able to do what he does in the pocket without having to worry about that ankle, he won't play. And right now, although Murray wants to play, Cliff Kingsbury says, again, it's going to be a game time decision, and they're not exactly sure what it's going to look like. He's made progress every day. He hasn't practiced at all this week. He's just kind of nursing it, trying to get back to healthy as quick as possible. But yeah, against the 49ers, again, a division opponent. 49ers finally got a win last week, so they're trying to get back into the mix on the NFC side as well. So without Murray, that could be a chance for the 49ers to get some gain some ground in that division. And again, in the NFC where there's a lot of one-loss teams, the Cardinals follow the 2 losses. They kind of go from top of the NFC one week to, if they lose, they'd be probably out of the playoff picture, at least for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, hot water for a lot of these teams. This is a big weekend of football games, and I feel like this is going to be a weekend where teams really do solidify themselves as, okay, maybe we can contend, or all right, this ain't our year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of those battles this weekend.
Yeah. I guess some more news, somebody getting back on the field. Tyrod Taylor, Houston Texans quarterback, is going to be back on the field this week against the Dolphins. He's been out since week 2. Obviously, the Texans are in a tough spot, not really in any contention, but to get him back out there, I think is going to be the best option for them at quarterback. Obviously, they started the year 1-1. They're right in the mix in the AFC South there, and then since then they've fallen off. But I mean, I guess never say never, but they get to play the Dolphins this week, so it's a good chance for them to kind of get their swagger back and get a win against, again, the Dolphins, a one win team.
Yeah, I mean, them being the favorites, I'm all over the Texans.
Yeah. I guess the last thing I have to talk about, kind of another trending thing right now in the football world, Aaron Rodgers. Right now, the NFL is investigating his situation to see whether or not he failed or met necessary protocols within the COVID-19, obviously, rules in the league. Rodgers claims, talking on the McAfee show on Tuesday, that he is allergic to an ingredient found in 2 of the 3 mRNA vaccinations that the league prefers players to get. Rodgers consulted with doctors as well as Joe Rogan as far as other routes to keep himself immunized and still try to meet the protocols to the NFL's liking. So it's kind of, I don't know. I know there's some analysts coming out saying, "Oh, he should be suspended for lying and this and that," but I mean, where do you draw the line then? Like, every coach, every player is going to be suspended then if lying is a means to suspend somebody nowadays. So, but again, he's supposed to be back in the building next Saturday, one day before they host Seattle. So for the time being, it looks like, I don't know, they're still investigating it, but who knows exactly what's going to happen.
I just don't understand how he lied. Like, did he come out and say that he was vaccinated publicly?
No, he didn't.
So then how did he lie?
Everybody's taking it out of context. When they asked, "Oh, have you got the vaccination?" He said, "I've been immunized." He didn't say, "Yes, I was vaccinated." He just said, "I've been immunized." That was his response to that question. So, I mean,
So it's not a lie.
no, it's not a lie, but the media and the rest of the NFL assumed he was, even though
Well, no, that's not true because the NFL actually brought the treatment plan that he was immunized with, and he brought that to the NFL to see if that could be considered a legal approach to doing that, and they denied that. And
Mhm.
he said that he wasn't going to take it to appeal because it's the NFL. They're not going to change now for one person.
Yeah.
So he did his, and they knew 100% about this at the beginning of the year when he literally brought this to them and said, "Hey, is this good?" So clearly the NFL knew that he wasn't vaccinated. And as far as people like complaining about him, I fully agree with what he said about not having to. If he's in a room of people who are fully vaccinated, why does he have to wear a mask?
Mhm.
If he's tested daily and he's not positive, why does he have to wear a mask in a room of 100% full of people who are protected? Why does he have to? That makes no sense. And for those of you people too who also bitch about how he doesn't wear a mask, if you watch some of his press conferences, he has it hanging down on his neck. He doesn't have it over his fucking face when he's talking so people can understand what he's saying.
Mhm.
This whole thing is just chapped my ass because so many people have been under fire at, oh, he's done for the year. They're going to, it's like, no, they're not. Literally, there's nothing going to happen. And the only thing that I got out of this whole thing is him being out of the game against the Chiefs, moving the line 7.5 points. That's MVP.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been. I mean, just as a fan of the game, and obviously as a Packers fan, it's been annoying, kind of seeing this all over the place. And again, the media skewing things how they want to, and trying to make him look bad. And even
He doesn't give a
he
fuck, though.
he was even on CNN. He was even on CNN. Like CNN doesn't have fucking better things to talk about. They brought on Ian Rappaport to talk about it, and like, I don't know. Even you could tell the last couple of days, Matt LaFleur and his pressers getting asked constantly about it. He's over it. He doesn't give a fuck. He's like, I've said what I said. And anything taken out of context, look back at the tape. He's like, I don't know anything. Talk to the NFL.
Yeah,
So
the media, especially with a topic like COVID or politics or anything, they do what they want and twist and turn things how they want. And everybody inside the building knows what, knows about this whole thing. And that's just hilarious. The one thing to keep an eye on, though, knock on wood, is hopefully Jordan Love does not test positive for COVID-19 before Sunday. That would be rough.
yeah, Blake. Well, then Blake Bortles would be next man up off the practice squad.
Because he said the only thing that he said after being asked about how he feels about being in that situation where 2 or 3 are out, he just said, I'm confident that I'm good right now, but I always have that like a little bit of fear not knowing if you're gonna because nobody knows.
Yeah,
You don't know if you half the people, I forgot what it was, the statistic or whatever, but a lot of people don't even know that they're sick or don't even know that they have it. So until you're tested and whatever, hey, we'll be all right though. I think we'll be just fine.
yeah,
This whole situation just needs to fucking blow. This week needs to just be done. Next weekend's game just needs to start so people can just shut up about it, because we're gonna hear this story until next Saturday when he is off the list.
yeah.
God, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's kind of all I had for talking points. We can go into our 3 picks for the week, unless you had any other points to talk about.
No, I did not. Other than I'm excited to see AP back on the field. I'm really excited for him. Currently at 5th all time for rushing yards. Who knows if he's got a little bit more juice in him to keep going a couple more years, especially now with the rules changing a little bit. Who knows if that impacts the running back position from a guy who played back then to now. It'd be interesting to hear his opinion on how the game has changed from playing.
Yeah, And I guess you mentioned the word juice. That's kind of the worst word that's been thrown around in that Titans team since he's been there. He's brought a lot of energy, a lot of juice to that team. A lot of his teammates, a lot of guys in the Titans organization have all been impressed. They're like, this guy was away for 10 months and he comes in, you can't even tell. Like he's just on top of things, fitting right in.
Yeah, he said he feels like he did back in the 2010-2011 season where he ran over 2,000 yards. He said he feels like that. So
Mhm.
who knows what we're going to get out the gates? The Titans are sure going to get lucky as hell if he's a superstar running back.
Yeah. And he's going to be on the primetime lights this week. They're going to be in LA against the Rams. So again, against a really good defense, they just got Von Miller. So if he can come in, has a 100-yard game, it's like, all right, AP's back. Yeah, jump into our 3 picks for the week then. Again, win, lock, upset. Who do you got getting an outright win this week?
An outright win. I have the dang, dude. Some of these are. I'm gonna go. I have to Bills over the Jags.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm picking Cowboys over Broncos. Again, Dak is back. Broncos just lost Von Miller. Yeah, I feel like Cowboys will take care of that one. Lock for the week. Who you got?
I am going to take. I'm going to take the Packers over the Chiefs. Packers over the Chiefs in Kingdom, in the Chiefs land. I think Jordan Love comes out well enough, plays well enough, and gets it done.
Sounds good. Yeah, and then your win I have as my lock, Bills over Jags. Not a whole lot to say there. And then your upset pick for the week.
My upset pick of the week.
Oh shoot. Miami's favorite over Texans.
Yep. I'm going to pick the Texans. Or no, that's not this weekend.
Yeah, it is.
The Ravens don't play the Dolphins?
Texans over Texans Dolphins. We were just talking about this game like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, sorry. My thing skipped down one too far. They play Thursday. So it brought up the Thursday's game on my thing. Texans. I got the Texans over the Dolphins.
Okay. And yeah, my upset pick for the week, Packers over Chiefs. Again, Chiefs are 7.5-point favorites. I mean, I put it as a lock, but I feel better putting it as an upset just because, again, I don't know. I'm not bought in on that Chiefs team, even though they've looked okay the past couple weeks. Jordan Loving is going to go in and get his first win as a Packer. Yeah, sounds good then. Sticking with our football talk, shifting to the college football world to highlight some games happening this weekend. Our Badgers travel to New Jersey to take on Rutgers. That game will be 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. Not a whole lot. The only really ranked versus ranked game this week is 13 Auburn at 14 Texas A&M. So not a whole lot of like college football playoff implications in that game, but some games I guess to pay attention to as far as a potential upset. Number 5 Ohio State at Nebraska. Nebraska went toe to toe with I think Michigan State and Michigan, if memory serves me correct. I'm gonna take a quick look at their. I know they went toe to toe with somebody not too long ago. Yeah, they took Michigan to the ropes 32-29. They barely lost to Purdue 28-23. Michigan State as well. Nebraska lost 23-20. So they've been within a possession of two really good teams. They're at home against Ohio State, so could be a potential upset to watch there. And then another one, Michigan State, number 3 at Purdue. Purdue, again, notable win on the year over Iowa. They've looked kind of stagnant since then, but again, who knows? Kind of in the Big Ten, those are some games to watch.
Yeah, it's just so crazy still how when you look at the scores, they still have their AP top 25 rankings next to their names. So like when you said number 3, Michigan State, they're actually number 5. I don't understand why they.
What I'm looking at, it says playoff. 3.
Yeah, the rankings on the AP top 25 is Georgia, Cincinnati, Alabama, Oklahoma, Michigan State, Ohio State, Oregon, Notre Dame, Michigan, Wake Forest.
Oh.
But the college football rankings are obviously what they are.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense when they
the AP polls don't mean anything anymore, pretty much.
Which is why I'm confused why the internet's using their numbers. Dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess some other games to throw out there. Missouri at number 1, Georgia. LSU at number 2, Bama. Number 4, Oregon at Washington. And then Indiana at Michigan. Just kind of highlighting some top 10 ranked games going on there. Again, the only ranked versus ranked game, Auburn, Texas A&M. So it's kind of a lull week this week. But again, some upsets to pay attention to, some unranked, possibly taking out some top 10 teams, which would just shake up everything. So, yeah, we'll highlight all those on Monday and see how those go. Switching over then to the hardwood for some NBA talk. What's the latest over there?
The only thing I got, some interesting news. 76ers continue to find Ben Simmons after Ben Simmons is refusing to meet with team doctors to talk mental readiness. He just doesn't want to be there, and that's the excuse that he's using, because that's the excuse. You can't tell, you can't call somebody a liar for saying that, but also at the same time, his actions aren't following up with them following, okay, you're not okay. We're going to give you what you need to get back. And he refuses, making himself look like an asshole. I feel like, I don't think any team, I don't know. I could see him going to free agency, being cut like the OBJ thing. I could see them cutting ties, but I don't know how, as far as money wise, what they'd end up having to owe him. But I don't know. I just think that they should get rid of him. And then the only other point that I have is former NBA All-Star point guard Deron Williams is to box on the Jake Paul, Tommy Fury undercard. And rumors have it that Frank Gore is going to be stepping in to take the fight.
Frank Gore.
Yep.
Wow. I want to picture that guy as a boxer, but also the dude just...
He's fucking jacked.
Yeah, he's jacked, and he's like... His picture from like 20 years ago to the last year he was in the league, he doesn't look any different. Like, that dude does not age.
Except for bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, a couple points to throw out there as well. The Lakers blow their second 19-point lead versus the Thunder 8 days apart. Last Wednesday, they were up 20-something points against the Thunder. They come back.
25.
Last night, Lakers were up 19. Thunder come back. Their only 2 wins again on the year are against the Lakers.
And they got into a little fucking scruffle at the end again.
Mhm.
Russell Westbrook trying to talk shit, and it's just like, dude, I love how they're losing.
Yeah, same. I mean, sticking with Lakers news, LeBron James out at least one more week with his abdominal strain. So they still have 3 or 4 more games without him. Currently sit at 5-4, so obviously they're above 500. But there was so much hype around that Lakers team coming into this year. They're not even on my radar as far as I'm concerned with the Western Conference right now. So yeah, like you said, it's like it's fun to watch these teams that are just cocky and like, oh, we're putting together one of the best teams and we're all best friends. We're gonna go and play ball, and they're losing to, again, whatever it was like Russell Westbrook or LeBron James. The entire Oklahoma City Thunder squad salary is less than one player. I think it was LeBron James or somebody on that team. So you're literally getting paid more than this entire team and you're still losing. But yeah, I guess give a shout out to our Bucks here. They got back in the win column as well. I think Wednesday they played, I want to say. Or was it last night? No, it was Tuesday night. Yeah, Tuesday night against the Pistons. So they've had off since then. Tonight they host the Knicks. Should be a good game. Knicks 5-3. They're off to a good start in the year. And Drew Holiday, since his ankle injury in first game of the year, he's expected to be back on the court. So should be a good game down at Fiserv tonight. And then the last point to talk about here, some more controversy. Again, with kind of the he said, she said things in the sports world. Suns owner Robert Sever, however you say that, was called out in an ESPN article for using racist and sexist remarks within the organization. None of the players have really commented about it, said we're just here to play ball. That's none of our business. But obviously they hope that the NBA does the right thing as far as if the guy is a piece of shit or not, basically. So
yeah, I don't think this is he said, she said. The only reason law firm Watchell Lipton is taking on this as 70 current and former Suns employees were interviewed, and they have a whole bunch of stuff on this guy. And like you said, the last time it's curious to see what happens, because last time there was a different owner of the league, and that was Silver. Is he still the guy, right?
Commissioner, yeah.
Was he the guy that's suspended? Oh yeah, he was. He's fucking for life. Donald Sterling on the Clippers. Remember those radio tapes back in 2014? They suspended him for life. So who knows if we're gonna see another lifer.
Yeah. And then I guess another thing to mention here too is the Suns owner also owns the Phoenix Mercury, the WNBA team. So it's affecting 2 franchises.
I think that's where most of it came from.
Was from the WNBA side.
Yeah, but because he's both, you go down for both.
Yeah.
Damn. I didn't know that he was a WNBA. Oh my.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit. Yeah, this is gonna be wild doing this. So much shit's going on in sports this year.
Yeah.
With people just being pieces of shit.
I mean,
but at least these people are being called out and shit's being done finally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's not just the untold stories 30 years later. This guy did this, and from 1977 to 2000, you know, like finally this is being stopped.
Yeah.
Even though it should have been stopped a long time ago, but finally it stopped.
Yeah, and these professional sports are kind of keeping the gas pedal down as far as like, all right, we got this one guy, he's out. All right, we're done. We did our due diligence as far as racism and sexism in America. All right, we're done. It's like, no, fuck that. We're keeping the gas down. We're taking down everybody. which is good. You got a clean house because, like, again, with the Raiders organization, owner Mark Davis over there said he wants stuff to come out about every team. Like, I mean, which it makes sense. It's not fair that his team was in the crosshairs for a couple weeks and then all of a sudden,
because of a
now
couple,
that's it.
right? Because of a couple emails, and there was, I forgot how many, 600,000 or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, let's see all the names in these emails. Like,
Yeah.
all these people should be held accountable.
Yeah, fucking clean house. It's like, of course everybody's like, yeah, clean house until something happens to your team. I don't give a fuck if fucking Mark Murphy, Matt LaFleur, if they said some dumbass shit, fucking get them out of there. Like, I don't care if it affects my team.
They're not the owners though, or the, as McAfee would say, the rich old whites. Those guys fucking just have so much money, like so much control over, you know.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't matter how much money you have, what your influence is. If you're a piece of shit and you do something like that, yeah, agreed. Clean fucking house.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all that's going on in the NBA. Again, that season, not even to the 10-game mark yet. Yeah, we'll highlight more. Again, Ben Simmons news, whatever happens there, and then obviously within the Suns organization, what's going to happen there.
Sounds good. Then we'll send her on over to the ice here. San Jose Sharks are sending their rookie William Eklund back to Sweden. He was their 7th pick in the draft overall. He's only had 4 assists so far in the 9 games, and it's not like he looked overmatched. He just thinks that it's too tough for a teenager, especially this guy in his own whatever. They just want to send them back to Sweden, where his pro contract is technically going to start, because once you're up, your 3-year contract starts with the team that you're signed by. So him being sent over back to Sweden, the Sharks clock will tick on this, and they're hopefully going to let this kid grow, get his game back. Hopefully the Swedish league returns him back to the NHL where he can play top 6 minutes, because all indications that I've seen from this, like stuff that I've read on this kid, is that he can be pretty good. So that's some interesting news there. Also, Seattle Kraken reveal their minor league team. They're going to be called the Coachella Valley Firebirds. So I thought that's pretty sick. This is a pretty sick name. Haven't seen any logos of the jerseys or anything like that, but yeah, that's their minor league team. Their AHL squad is going to be called. Some also big news regarding injuries here. Carrie Price is to rejoin the Montreal Canadiens after entering a player assistance program. No time has been set on when he will set foot back on the ice with Montreal, but he is back with the team at this time. Columbus Blue Jackets lose one of their star forwards, Patrick Laine, out 4 to 6 weeks with an oblique strain. And then the latest news on the Jack Eichel sweepstakes. Vegas Golden Knights. They get him for Alex Tuck, some other guy, and 2 picks. Which, I mean, if Jack Eichel gets back to the Jack Eichel we all know before this injury, huge win on Vegas's part for being able to lock this guy down. But I'm also gonna give the win to the Buffalo Sabres right now. They have a young squad. They basically signed everybody on their team to entry-level deals this season because they want people to prove them. Like, they want to make sure that they're not going to continue to go through and be a dumpster fire for 10 years straight of just absolute shit. So they basically signed everybody to $750,000 contracts, and prove yourself. If you want to get paid, prove yourself. So huge move for them, getting 2 top guys over who have proven themselves playing with Vegas. I feel like this could definitely help their team continue to go forward on the season. And then just to wrap up a couple scores from the other night, Seattle Kraken get a victory over the Buffalo Sabres, who we were just speaking of, 5-2. Jordan Eberle records the Seattle Kraken's first hat trick and also first natural hat trick in franchise history. Shout out to Jordan Eberle. That's pretty awesome. And for those of you who do not know what a natural hat trick is, it's scoring 3 consecutive goals in the game.
It was like
Bang,
11.
bang, bang.
They're like 11 minutes apart. It was like the first. It was like a minute and a half left in the
yeah.
second, and then the third one was like 10 minutes into the third.
Yeah, it was 2-2, and then he basically scored the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty awesome when that happens. It doesn't happen too often in the game of hockey, so that's pretty cool if that happened there. Alex Ovechkin tallies another one last night. He has 3 points on the night as they end up falling short in overtime to the Florida Panthers, 5-4. That game, I got to see a little bit of that one. It was pretty intense. Both those teams both look like contenders right now early in the season. Can definitely say that. Pittsburgh Penguins beat my Flyers in overtime 3-2. That game as well with Sid Crosby back in action. I mean, they're getting a lot of, excuse me, because he's on the COVID list.
Yeah, they're missing 4 players and one of their coaches, weren't they? For that game last night.
Yeah, they had Malkin isn't. Yeah, they're missing three of their top forwards, and yeah, their coach didn't was not there. So that's a huge win. Just that team's got a lot of depth. I mean, the moves that they've made the past couple of years from the last time that they won the Stanley Cup, I feel like all their moves that they've been making have kind of added up to this point with the team that they have right now in net. They went and got a goalie in Yari. He's stepping up and he's very well. When you get Malkin, Gensel, and Crosby back, that team could be very dangerous going forward. Toronto Maple Leafs edge the Stanley Cup winning Tampa Bay Lightning, Stanley Cup champion. They edged them 2-1 in overtime last night. 2 guys under heat so far, Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, for their production. Each get 2 points last night in the 2 goals that were scored. So they're finally stepping up their pace of play and their game. They're a fun team to watch, full of young studs. And then also, last little bit of stat jabber here. Patrice Bergeron starts the year 7 games with no goals. Last night against the Detroit Red Wings, nets 4. That line, I'm going to call them the greatest line to ever play. Patrice Bergeron, Marchand, and Pastrnak. I'm going to call those 3 the greatest line of all time. Unless McDavid, Draisaitl, and whoever they have on their line can continue to do what these guys have done for 15 years straight. Like, these guys have been unbelievable. They all play for cheap deals. They could be making a fuck ton of money if they would have left Boston and went other. Boston's not a city where they overpay people, and hence why Chara is gone. Hence why a lot of people haven't stayed in the organization. But those guys continuing to stay, man, that team can go as far as those 3 carry them at this point. And then, yeah, that's kind of all I have right now. Still one unbeaten team in the NHL, the Carolina Hurricanes. They just keep on rolling. Unbelievable. 9-0 start. They sit atop the NHL. Oilers have 1 loss, and the Florida Panthers also have 1 loss. Tonight's games, Blackhawks, Jets, Oilers, Rangers, that one could be a good one. Kings, Devils, Coyotes, Ducks, Predators, Canucks. Nothing really huge there around the board. And then my last bit of news here is Brady Kachuk named captain of the Ottawa Senators, the first captain that they've had since 2018. They've gone to refuse to name a captain since the 2018 season. They've now stepped up and given it to the young guy.
Cool.
Yeah, it's crazy how they're giving it to a kid who's only been in the league a couple of years.
Yeah. Why haven't they, just with their downfall, that nobody stepped up to like take leadership of the team, or
Their management has been, they've had a couple different ownership, couple different coaches, and this all stems from where the team fucking fell apart was when they were playing the Arizona Coyotes in 2018. They were all in a taxi or an Uber or something, and they were shit talking the organization. There was like 8 players, and they were shit talking the organization and the coach, and it all got recorded on the dash cam and somebody released the footage. Whoever had that released it publicly, and all those guys have since then been shipped out of town to different teams. And yeah, that was kind of their downfall. And I don't feel like they could trust anybody at that point. Like, nobody really wanted to be in Ottawa. Now you have a guy who's been drafted there. Kachuk's a household name in the NHL. His brother plays for Calgary, and his dad is an all-time legend. I think it's a good move for them, finally having a captain, finally having someone rally the boys together. That's kind of what a captain does.
yeah. Then wrapping up our Friday episode here with our Feel Good Friday stories for the week. What do you got?
So my Feel Good Friday moment is about the head coach for the Atlanta Braves, who just won the World Series, Ron Washington. Ron Washington played in the MLB from 1977 to 1989, making the World Series 0 times as a player. He then went on to coach for the Oakland Athletics from 1996 to 2006, playing a key role in the movie Moneyball. He was on that team that movie is based on, having a big role in teaching Scott Hadenberg how to play first base, the guy who never knew how to play first. He basically is the guy that taught him how to play first base and that whole type of thing. He then left that team to go coach the Texas Rangers, or manage, the Rangers from 2007 to 2014, where he would make the World Series 2 years in a row. 2010 season, losing to the San Francisco Giants, followed by the 2011 season, losing to the St. Louis Cardinals. He's been in the sport of baseball for 50 years, finally getting the World Series that he's been looking for with the Atlanta Braves. So what a hell of a career. This guy's managed over 1,300 games. Started as a coach, turning into a manager, and look what he, going back to the coach, and he wins a fucking wins a World Series. Shout out to Ron Washington, and that's my Feel Good Friday.
Awesome. Yeah, mine kind of short and sweet today. But again, got to circle back to it. Our Packers, Jordan Love getting his first shot on the big stage this Sunday against the Chiefs. Love at first received some flack from Packers Nation when drafted last year. Again, as kind of being the replacement of Rodgers and that whole drama. But this week can silence all the haters by leading the 7-1 Packers into Arrowhead and getting the win. So, again, kind of a short and sweet Feel Good Friday, but again, always good to highlight any guy who gets a shot, whether it's a long time coming or just a long road, or in this case, a guy who's received some flack from the fan base and some of the rest of the league. But yeah, definitely looking forward to Sunday afternoon and looking for our boys to pull out a dub.
That's I mean, like you said, all the people literally wanting to kill Jordan Love last season.
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody's hoping
that
he can carry us to a win. No one's seen him play.
No.
Let's
you can't really take preseason into consideration. Well, he didn't get to play. There was no preseason.
No, none last year.
So the only film on this guy is college, really.
Well, preseason this year is it. But what do you do in preseason?
They didn't. Did they play
Oh,
preseason? They
yeah.
did. Yeah, Packers went 0-4. That's right.
0-3. They only had 3.
Or 3. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So those are his only games that they have on tape is preseason. What can you really take much of that? So I think he'll do well learning underneath Rodgers, just like Rodgers learned under Favre. Who knows what we're going to get?
Yeah.
And then breaking news coming out. Cleveland and OBJ have reworked the contract as part of the settlement before the contract was terminated. The Browns have agreed to remove his final 2 years of OBJ's deal, meaning now he is scheduled to be a free agent after the season is over, which everybody, reworking the deal intended. Also, any team that claims OBJ would inherit $7.25 million from the Cleveland Browns to pay his salary for the rest of the season. So he's basically going to be a rental for the rest of the year. And like you said, he's set to hit waivers Monday, but he can't be claimed until Tuesday at 4 p.m. But this contract hasn't gone official yet because it just says pending NFLPA's approval. But we all know that this is going to get done because this whole situation turned out to be really ugly. So, yeah.
Watch they denied and they're like, no, fucking tough it out. But no, yeah. So basically you here's a receiver and $7.5 million.
I read that wrong. Excuse me. He wanted to adjust his salary. That the team. So it went from 8.1 to 7.25 is what the team. That's how much cap you're going to take on.
Oh, okay.
That's how much he's going to cost.
So they just basically whoever's going to pick him up is just saving an extra $1 million, basically.
Yeah, I'm looking at the cap space thing right now just to see who, because he's going to go through the waivers. So worst team. No, Packers aren't even in there. We only got 5.2 million as of right now. So we'd have to let somebody go.
Yeah.
Which I don't. We'd have to free up $2 million. We'd have to free up. But the teams that do have the room: Jaguars, Eagles, Broncos, Seahawks, Panthers, Washington, Steelers, Chargers, Browns. Obviously, they're gonna have an additional Bengals, and that's it.
So none of the teams that were in the Saints, Panthers, Raiders, none of them are. They'd have to cut some ties to make room for them.
Yeah, and the Packers are technically the closest to getting to there. The Raiders are at 3.4. They'd have to clear like $5 million. But who knows what Ruggs is? I don't know if that went through or not.
What?
Ruggs is them releasing him and that now being because it was.
Yeah, I don't know how long
works.
that takes to where that cap hit is excused from the team when they release them.
Because it says how many people are on the roster too. Like the team that has the most people currently being paid by their team's roster is the Titans. They have 88 people because of the people who are hurt, whatnot. Colts are at 87.
And that's what's tough. What's tough for the Packers is if they are going to let somebody go. I feel like the two areas that a team looks at to get rid of people is your most depth, receiver, cornerback, and those are the two areas that the Packers are hurting on right now as far as injuries and COVID and stuff like that. So maybe taking a risk getting rid of some people, even though they don't really have the luxury to.
We only have 76 people that we're paying. That's still a lot. So I feel like they could I feel like they could make some room.
Yeah.
If they really want, this weekend, I feel like is going to be the determining factor.
Yeah.
Do we need another guy and depending on how the Chiefs look too. Like, do we really need Chiefs defense plays? Like, we all know the Chiefs defense can of last year. Like, if they show up for some ungodly reason out of nowhere, Packers should be like, all right, we need one more guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if we handle them easy or they don't even show up, that's kind of you don't really get to know.
Yeah.
And that's like with the Chiefs team this whole fucking season. It's like there's drives where they look like the old Kansas City Chiefs, and then there's plays where it's just like, what in the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
Like,
I can't remember who. I think it might have been Ryan Clark talking about how teams have been able to get under the Chiefs' skin this year. It's forcing them on long drives. They want the big 20, 30, 40-yard chunk plays.
oh yeah,
10 plays or less drives, boom, on the field, off the field, on the field, off the field. Teams are dragging them out to 15, 16, 18-yard drives, just wearing them out. And then that's where the mistakes happen.
they're the least blitzed team. I think they've only been blitzed like 3 or 4 times all season.
Yeah. Most
Because
teams send
people
3 or
found
4 and
the
drop
Super
7 or 8.
The Super Bowl dictated the formula of how to beat that team.
Yeah.
Keep your guys back. Let your D line fucking try to get home.
Yeah.
Make Mahomes have to be godly. And sometimes it works. Sometimes, when you play that type of ball, it's risk versus reward. You ain't gonna get the completion every single time. But yeah, it's really interesting watching that team, play, because everybody knows their offense has got 7 weapons out, like how many fucking superstar weapons do they got? And then you see them like Mahomes gets the ball and he's standing back there and he's just like, there's nowhere to throw the ball because teams they're dropping 8 in the coverage, good luck trying to find a spot when you have 8 defenders out there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, and if their run game continues to suck, they're going to be stuck in this position all season long.
Yeah. I guess the one thing with the Packers too, though, because of how good they were without Lazard, without Adams, without MVS, and they beat the best team in the NFL, at the same time, they could look at it and be like, why do we need OBJ? Because now when they get those 3 guys back, I mean, obviously your team's better with him, but at the same time, you can make the case that why do we need him if we can win games without our top 3 receivers?
Because it's just in case MVS's hamstring goes out, Lazard gets hurt, just in case something happens.
Yeah.
But for that price, that's going to be a lot to that's a lot to ask for a half of a season. And it ain't going to be a team unless they're desperate. I don't feel like a team is going to pick him up. He'll be a free agent. I don't feel like a team's going to pick him up at that $7 million it's going to cost him. So when he becomes a free agent, then obviously let the salary cap gurus do their thing and see who gets him. But I don't see him getting claimed on waivers, just because looking at that list of the salary cap that we just went through, Jaguars, are they going to make it? Urban Meyer, does he say, fuck it, let's get Lawrence OBJ, let's do it? Like, does a team like that pull a move, like, and he goes to a shit team, and he's stuck. But I think that's so stupid. It was just recently, within the last 2 years, that if you were in the league for 3 years, you didn't have to go on the waivers. You just went straight to free agency. But now you have to go to the waiver wire. Even if you're a vet, don't matter. So you go to a shit team, basically. And that's why I feel like they kept his contract so high.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Are you really going to spend $7.1 million for... I ain't going to show up.
Yeah.
Jags want him. I ain't fucking going. Tell him to kick rocks.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to go either,
Yeah, he can fucking retire. Or
he could retire
sit out the rest
and
of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he could sit out the rest of the season next year. Hey, I'm healthy. I'm good to go. Somebody pick me up.
Easily could. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy to see how this turns out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got for today.
Yeah, same here. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate all the love and support that we continue to get every single day. We'll be teasing our little teaser out next week about something that we have coming up here on the podcast. It's going to be great for all of us. And yeah, hope everybody had a great week. You know, a lot of sports on this weekend. We'll lot to recap on Monday. So have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll see you on Monday.
Have a great weekend, and go Pack Go.